Imagine walking into a doctor's office with bloody diarrhea and being told the cure is a drink made from someone else's feces, not as a last resort, as standard medical advice. Doctors wrote this down. They taught it in schools. They sold it in apothecaries. For centuries, this was real medicine. So, how did we get here? In ancient Egypt, the Ebers Papyrus from around 1550 BC described mixing dried human and animal dung with honey to treat infected wounds and eye diseases. Physicians applied these pastes directly to the body. Sometimes the swelling went down, sometimes the rot stopped. They didn't know why, they just saw results and kept doing it. The Greek physician Dioscorides saw the same pattern while treating wounded Roman soldiers. In his medical encyclopedia, he listed human feces as a proper remedy for snake bites, ear infections, and inflamed wounds. He recommended aging it or drying it to make it stronger. To him, this was just another substance from the natural world that happened to work. The practice reached its most deliberate form in China. In 1578, after decades of research, Shizhen published his Compendium of Materia Medica. He included a preparation called golden juice, fermented human feces aged in specific way. He recommended it for severe, life-threatening dysentery. The reasoning was simple. If someone had survived a gut that should have killed them, their waste might contain whatever had saved them. Why not give that to the dying? Preparing these medicines was grim work. Apothecaries collected waste from healthy donors or recent survivors. They dried it in the sun for weeks, fermented it for months, or mixed it with wine and honey to make it drinkable. The smell was terrible, patients gagged and vomited, but when your child was fading in front of you, you held their nose and made them swallow. And sometimes it worked. We now understand what was happening. The gut holds trillions of microbes that do far more than digest food. They train the immune system and control inflammation. When that community collapses, the body can fail completely. By giving someone else's waste, these early doctors were sometimes transferring beneficial bacteria from one person to another. Today we call this fecal microbiota transplantation, and it saves lives from certain deadly gut infections. The old physicians didn't know they were moving microbes. They were following patterns they had watched for generations. The practice died in the 1800s. Once Pasteur proved that specific bacteria caused specific diseases, putting feces into a patient looked like contamination, not treatment. The old remedies were abandoned and forgotten in Western medicine for nearly 100 years. Only recently have scientists returned to the idea. With modern tools, they've shown that restoring a damaged gut ecosystem can produce recoveries that once looked impossible. What seemed like superstition contained a real biological truth. So why did doctors prescribe human poop as medicine? Because they were facing invisible threats with nothing but their eyes and their refusal to accept that some people simply had to die. They watched bodies fail and sometimes recover. They reached for whatever the body produced if it might help. Most of their theories were wrong, but inside the filth was an observation about how we actually work that took us thousands of years to understand. Our ancestors didn't have microscopes. They had desperation and pattern recognition. They looked in the most repulsive places because the alternative was watching people suffer without trying everything possible. Sometimes that desperation led them to something that still works today,